So I was on vacation recently, and I was in a discussion, and we were talking about childhood memories and things of that nature. And um, we were talking about incidents we used to get into as kids, and what our triggers were. And we got on a discussion about how back in my day, one thing you didn't do is you didn't say your mama. And I started to that was a trigger for me. Full disclosure, that was a trigger for me. But I started to digest, like, okay, why was that a thing? Why was that a thing for me? But yet, at the same time, why was that even a go-to for the individuals or the opposition to say to you? And it took me back to the battle that we have with Satan, or his battle or his issues with us, meaning you can't hurt us. He can't hurt us. And I recall those times when I did get into those conversations, those situations and fights with individuals when they spoke on my mother. I realized they only did that because they had nothing else to say about me. That was the best that they had. That was, okay, I'm tired, I'm frustrated, I'm angry with you, I'm jealous of you, I don't like you, whatever, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to take you off your square. So the best I got is your mama. You, so the enemy is literally doing the same thing. You've heard me say this before, and I'll take you to some scripture to confirm what I'm saying, because I don't want you to think I'm just talking in my discussion. But I say that being funny, but seriously, I don't want you to think I'm just coming up with stuff out there blue or conjuring up anything. But the enemy literally has no power against you. He doesn't have any power against you. His main goal is to set traps for you to fall into. So it's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice that we we take upon ourselves. A lot of times we take a zero and we make it a 10. Hear me. A lot of times we take a zero and we make it a 10. Meaning we make something out of nothing. We give it life. We give it power over us when it doesn't really have any power. Hear me out. So, I was in a conversation in the last couple of days on people's choices, whether it be their sexuality, whether it be their lifestyle, whatever the conversation is. And, there's a lot of debate on what that is and what it should be. And, we all know what the word says. The word is the word. I don't have to tell you what the word says about your choices. But the word also says they're your choices. Choose life. We talked about that before. Choose life. But when it comes to your quality of life, your lifestyle, once again, that's your choice. It's not my choice. It's your choice. So if you decide you like the color blue, you like the color blue. Inherently, there's nothing wrong with liking the color blue. Okay, so that's a zero. Okay, you like the color blue. But when the choices we make affect our life and our spiritual life, now we're talking about something. So, there's been conversations going on forever, and especially in this day and age, about how we were born. And I've been on this thing lately about not suppressing how God made me, but suppressing what the devil is trying to influence on me. Hear me out. I am walking out and practicing not suppressing what God made me to be. I'm trying to live that life to the fullest. Please understand me. Because I'm understanding the power that I have in being who He called me to be and not being ashamed of it, not trying to change it, but embellishing it, using it to its full capacity. That's where I'm at right now. But I'm also understanding, okay, there's some things that you've picked up along the way that wasn't given to you, that wasn't ordained for you in your mother's womb, like God said to Jeremiah. Listen, there's some things we picked up along the way that we learned from our parents. There's some things that jumped on us, that spirits that jumped on us, because we're around things and we were taught things, and learn to allow them to be our lifestyles that we need to shed. We need to shed it just like snakes shed their skin. We need to shed these cloaks that we put on us. We're wearing mantles that were not designed for us. Hear me again. Hear me again. We put on some coats and we put on some clothing and we put on skins that was not designated for us. So I'm saying all that to say some of the choices that we made, we need to go back and reverse them. Hear me. We've chose some things that wasn't for us. The Lord said that he would not put anything on us that we couldn't bear, but he wouldn't put anything on us that we couldn't bear. But what do you put on yourself that you shouldn't have? Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my original point. We were talking about choices, and we got on the conversation of sexuality. I know sexuality, and everybody, this culture and the times that we're in, right? It's a very touchy subject, and I believe what I believe. You believe what you believe. No judgment here, but I'm gonna base my beliefs on the word. But one of the conversations that I had and that came to me is like, you know what? We know these are choices. I don't believe that God, who created me, he created me to be in the likeness of Christ. And even though I'm born with a simple nature, I was created in a likeness. I don't believe I was born uh, opposite of what he created me to be. I don't believe that. Now, my choices, my tastes are my own. My desire for love and where it comes from is my own. Meaning, sometimes I think we take upon mantles based on our fleshly desires, and then we try to justify them by saying, that's how I was made. That's where I'm going with this. That's a choice. That's a choice. Let's not confuse the issues. We do what we want to do. We go where we want to go. We like what we like. And sometimes we have to learn to unlike some things that are perverted. We have to unlike some things that are just not right. We know right and wrong. Don't suppress the unction of the spirit that you have in you when it tells you it's wrong. If you feel like it's wrong, it's wrong. That's the word. So let's not confuse choices with how we were created. Let's not use that as a scapegoat or our go-to excuse. Let's not do that. That's fair is fair. Okay? Let's not do that. There's certain things we choose to do. It's certain mannerisms that we choose. I remember growing up, there is a couple of key people in my life. I like fashion. I like clothes. I like being groomed. And there was some individuals, men in my life growing up that like, man, when I grow up, I want to be like that. They were influencers for me. Shout out to Raz. But they were influencers for me. They were like, man, when I grow up, that's what I want to be. They were modeling for me. And that's the model that I chose. That's how I wanted to be perceived when I hit that age. Well groomed, well kept. It's something that I desire. That was a choice I made. I desired to be that. I desired to carry myself like that. And I modeled it. I studied it. I mimicked it. I made it my own. I was influenced by it. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with being influenced by fashion and things of that nature. We have to have clothes. I just like nice ones. Sue me. But with that being said, we can also choose to be influenced by things that will affect our quality of life, our quality of our spiritual life. Please hear me. So, with that said, I have to be aware that certain things that were placed in front of me in my upbringing, in my growth, I've gravitated to for whatever the reason. Good, bad, or indifferent, there's things that we gravitate to that we have to be aware of. And we have to go back and reevaluate, okay, how did I get here? I'm a firm believer in evolution. I'm a firm believer in what I would call having a living document, meaning it's just like a business plan. Business plans, if those of you that have gone down that road to uh, start one or make one, you know that a business plan evolves. It changes as time changes. It evolves. It needs adjustments. You start off with a plan, you realize, okay, that's not working. I need to tweak this. When is the last time you decided to tweak your life? When is the last time you decided to go back and look at some of your practices and say, you know what? That's not producing the fruit that I wanted to produce. It's producing the fruit, but I'm not getting the results that I desire, that I want. So, when is the last time that you've sat down and actually reevaluated your life plan to see if you're still on course? To see if you're still on track to where you said your goals were to try to be, whatever that may be. You need to do that. It's it's no different to me than having a Damascus Road moment that Paul had. Uh, we all know the story in Acts where Paul was a persecutor of the saints, of the Christians. He believed what he believed, and that was his choice. And it came from a place he believed that he truly, with wholehearted, believed that he was doing the right thing. And it took that Damascus Road moment for him to see, well, wait a minute, Paul, Paul, why are you kicking against the goads? Why are you coming against me, Paul? Saul, I should say. What is Paul? Saul. It took a moment for him to say, whoa, and he had to be blinded. He had to go 3 days of not being able to see. He didn't eat for 3 days. He didn't drink for 3 days until Ananias came and had a conversation with him. But my point is, it took a moment, or took someone to bring to his attention, hey, you need to rethink what you've been doing. I need you to reevaluate your practices. I need you to shift your focus because you have the right zeal, but for the wrong thing. Does it make sense? Change your focus. Zeal is great when it's about the right thing. And the only way you can recognize if your zeal is out of place, if you take the self-examination that we all have to do. I'm still doing it. I'm still evolving. I'm still writing my business plan every day. I'm writing it. I'm checking my position. I'm checking my position now more often than I ever have in my life. Real talk, full disclosure, guys. More often than I ever have in my life because I understand the significance of making sure that I don't get too far off to the right, too far off to the left. My mantra right now is, I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm liberated by saying that. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm following my Lord God that does. As long as I'm following the individual that knows what they're doing, I can put it in cruise control and just do what I'm told to do. And be reassured that, hey, wherever it is, it's His will. It's His will, as long as I'm obedient. So, but that's a practice. That's acknowledging, hey, I've got some flaws that I need to be aware of. I've got some things that I need to put in check at all times. I need to do these self-checks because you can be off like Saul was. You can be off and not even know it. So I'm saying this, check your choices.